Yeah. What do you guys think about Sarada's omnipotence? Like with the Mangekyo stuff, is there like any new takes, any new perspectives on that? Why she's
You
not
mean
affected by omnipotence?
I think it's obvious. A lot of people probably won't like the answer. Me, I'm indifferent. I don't care for it. But it's just that she's in love with an Otsutsuki, and who happens to be Boruto. So that's why she and Sumire are immune to Eida's ability, or it's just that Eida subconsciously wanted real friends and somehow, some way, made Sarada and Sumire immune because she rocks with them.
You know, I think would actually be more interesting than that if it's actually Boruto who's in love with both of them and doesn't know it.
The love of the Otsutsuki can cause you to have immunity.
Being loved by an Otsutsuki can
Being
cause you
loved,
to have
yeah.
immunity. It's nothing they're doing. It's everything Boruto feels towards them. That could be crazy.
That's possible.
And then, because then he has to like contend with that, like from a guy standpoint, how to deal with like your repressed emotions. That could be an interesting little plot point, but it's probably the inverse, like you said before.
Gay converts to Muslim, and all of a sudden he's dating, or to Islam, and he's dating now has 4 or 3 wives. Yeah, I respect situations like that.
Nah, one of them can drop for sure. I don't care who. One of them can drop for sure.
We could have got to 3 wives without all the Islam. That's great. I'm fine with 3. Like that's perfectly fun, bro.
He bags
not in this context.
We're
talking about children.
Aida's from the, she's switching up on Kawaki, so it's about to happen soon. I want Eida to stand alone. I feel like she's a character that's good enough, and she can propel the story if she does. But I wouldn't be mad at her to just go into Team Boruto, just straight up.
She needs to stop. I think her path is to stop depending on people, depending on her brother, depending on love from other people and acceptance. You need to just be an independent individual. And I think that's her story arc. I don't think it's some grandiose. She might do grandiose stuff. Obviously, she already has. But I think that's really her conclusion. Something really simple and something really pedestrian. Just a teen, like a young woman living her life without this power. And I think that's her conclusion. Her sitting at like a coffee shop, maybe just sipping something alone. No brother, no man by her side. She just enjoying. Nobody even paying attention to her, and she likes it. She just smirks, and that's the last time we see Eida. And she loses her abilities or some shit like that. Maybe she transferred them over to somebody, Sarada or whoever, and she just like she's a normal human being, or cyborg, normal person, and she just like smirks and like kind of goes, kind of like Batman from
Bro gave
how he
her
left
a whole
Catwoman
life
from the movie.
Nah,
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that being her conclusion.
I
She's not a warrior. What else would she like? What else would her conclusion be besides
I
that?
agree
Or
with Eida. I think I see her as like a character. Like she represents us within the Boruto story, because even when you take the ability of omnipotence, us as a fans and viewers, whenever we're reading a source or we're reading a material, we know all things that go on because the author is portraying all things to us. So things that certain characters are privy to later on within the story that are possibly revealed to us, like we have an omnipotent sort of like viewpoint for the story itself. And in turn, Eida has that same exact ability. Like she can see all things that are currently going on in the story, but when we get to like a deeper level of her character, it's very simple. It's simplistic. Like she has a very humane taste. She has a very humane expectations, despite having these inhumane and extraordinary abilities. Like she just wants like regular, like any young person in general. Like I'm trying to find love. I'm trying to chill. I'm trying to go shopping. I'm trying to enjoy these good foods. But now we got ninjas and aliens boxing and blowing things up right next door. So it's like it's just crazy things going on around her. And she's just gonna come to the realization like she needs self-acceptance as opposed to being loved by everybody in the world, or finding a love by someone that can be quote unquote true. Maybe that can be a byproduct, but it's gonna start with her. Like kind of like what Sarada did within the previous chapters, like accepting herself, loving herself, and that's essentially going to be like the mark of her character. So yeah, Mello's right.
Sarada achieved that like way before she did, and I think Mitsuki has a very similar arc as well. He got to get over that. Like even Boruto said, like, bro, I don't think you actually need me, but since you seem to at the moment, I'll be here for you, bro. Like, so I think that's his path too. Like, stop being so damn dependent and like have some independence. And I think that could parallel like the actual fan base, like who are growing up with this, because this, like, there are like morals that these stories push towards certain individuals. I don't think they're aimed towards me, a grown ass man. The whole
Right.
love stuff, the love stuff could be, but the whole independence, growing up, this is the part of life type thing through Eida and Mitsuki. I think that could be a moral for younger audiences for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then not even to like go into like too much detail, because even with these characters like Eida, Mitsuki, and Sarada, I was gonna work on like a chain of videos just for those three specifically, because outside of like Boruto and Kawaki, obviously, I believe just those three characters, especially with emphasis like on Ada and some of the dynamics that Mitsuki bring, like they're like some of the three most important characters in the story, especially with the type of story that Ikimoto is trying to tell with like this whole entire love and like, you know, philosophical question and walking through life and stuff like that.
Where do you think Sumire lands in all this?
Sumire is a very great asset. I think she also parallels Ada in terms of being a very humane character, like giving us a humane experience in this extraordinary world, because things around her, like the drama or politics around her character, seem very grounded whenever we have like Sumire on page and on panel. So it's not anything as far as like, oh, we have to worry about this monster or dodging this Biju bomb or you know whatever jutsu is going on, but it's more so like, oh, okay, she's playing like 3D chess right now in this room with a model. She's trying to figure out something or trying to get a model to say something, or a model's calling her out on whatever things that she's doing. She's exposing Sarada's feelings. She's basically calling out elephants in the room. So it's like really grounded and humane things for Sumire's character. So I appreciate that, and there is that parallel with Ada character. I believe though with like Mitsuki and obviously for Sarada, her being the main heroine of the story, but for Mitsuki and Ada, like what you alluded to earlier, Mello is like those two characters have similarities that also like kind of compare and contrast each other in terms of like understanding the journey that Mitsuki as a character has been going through, learning personal acceptance, well, for the most part coming into that now, but learning, you know, place his placement in the world, whether it be the sun and moon and accepting the moon. But both Ada and Mitsuki, just like to make the long story short, have this figure in their lives, whether it be for Ada Kawaki or Boruto, or just the idea of love itself. But for Mitsuki, just having that son, they have this figure that they attach their personalities and their characters to, and they have to move forward in life according to that figure. So the goal for both of those characters would be to go like above that. And Sumire doesn't really have that nuance there, because obviously with Ada, she's a cyborg. She got you know, enhanced. You can make the argument for Sumire and her trauma history with Danzo and her father and the New Age connection. But with both like Ada and Mitsuki, they have outer humane experience. Like Mitsuki is a synthetic human being and Ada is a cyborg, but they both have these similar goals that they cling their lives or their personalities to, and they have to essentially move past that. With Sumire, it's more just like I said, I appreciate the humane and the grounded experience around the character, which relates her and parallels her towards Ada. And a lot of the connections with her character relies around Ada, Amato, and Kawaki, those three characters specifically, and also Sarada when you include the love triangle with Boruto. But for the most part, aside from the romance, her character really lies in the politics between Kawaki and Amato, and essentially showing like that Anbu Black Ops or that root history that we have with her and her family being, you know, essentially in this ninja world being like the assassins or like the ninjas of the ninjas, the shadow ninjas, right? So I think once she gets past whatever like the love dynamic would ever be there for Sumire, it's gonna be like more grounded, but it won't be as impactful. Not to say that like to diss Sumire, because obviously people would know I'm a Sarada fan, but it wouldn't be as impactful or meaningful to the story as to once we get like realizations or like hurdles completed for characters like Mitsuki and Ada specifically.
It's like super interesting too. I'm sorry. Did you guys have something to add to that? I think Bara light up.
Yeah, the only thing I'd probably say is I think it'd probably be a lot easier for Mitsuki to kind of get over that feeling than Sarada, where I think because of the relationship, it's more of like a plot thing to where like she has to kind of be connected to Boruto, and same thing with Sumire and Ada. And
Mhm.
Eida not necessarily specifically Boruto, could be Kawaki or Boruto, depending on the time in the series. But I think that's more like a hard thing for Sarada to get over, to be honest.